Greetings to the Conscious Collective. I think I am on time today. I wanted to start at a particular time, and I think I have hit that mark. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are live on YouTube. So let me do some final checks before we get into our morning practice. Just making sure the volume is correct over here on TikTok. Sound check, 1, 2, 1, 2. Waiting for the Conscious Collective community to become part of this conversation. Thank you guys for joining me as we make sure everything is correct. All right, welcome, welcome, welcome. Divine Rising to the Conscious Collective. We will begin our morning practice in just 1 minute. I think I started on time today. Thank you guys for joining me. I think we can begin with our vendor numbers as people come in and get settled. I placed the cards down in the visual. I don't know if it's called a visual or what it's called, but it is in the screen. You should be able to see the different shapes and colors. And I'm going to pull them, and you just try to predict the next one in there. How's everyone doing today? Welcome, welcome, welcome. So let's begin. I'm gonna move it around because when I looked at the video, it couldn't be seen all the time. So we do this to awaken our psychic abilities, to reconnect to this plane of existence. I find that it's almost, for me, a way of reconnecting to divine source. So when I do give my thoughts in the talks, they seem to be more aligned and seem to flow better. Okay. So we're going to be talking today about you are the new gods. This is a very triggering topic for a lot of people because they refuse to believe that they are made in the image of God. They want to remain subservient. They want to remain slaves. And so this is a very triggering topic a lot of times to a lot of people. We're going to try to get through everything. I try to go as long as I'm being guided and try to touch on a lot of things. I make a lot of notes, and we're going to try to reach everything. So we're just doing our morning practice as people come in, as they become aware that I am live on YouTube. I'm going to move it around because when I redid a replay, I saw that sometimes you can't see it. Divine Rising, Nicole, how are you doing today? We have a very interesting topic we're going to be getting into. We're doing our morning practice. And the topic today is you are the new gods. You are the new God. The Conscious Collective. I try to steer this conversation towards more of those people that are open-minded and want to at least consider different concepts. For those that are not, this probably is not a good channel for you. And I'm okay with that because if you don't get it this time, you may get it next lifetime. So again, you can keep track. We're just doing our morning psychic practice as the collective comes in, as they realize that I'm live on YouTube. We're going to cover a lot of ground today. And just guess or predict. This is more predictive. Which shape is going to come up next? This should only be part of your practices. I mean, I always recommend that people get up, clear those chakras. You know, when you sit on the edge of the bed, before you get up, don't wait till you got to run to the bathroom. You've been up for a minute. You've been up for a minute. You've just been laying there, all right, trying to go back to your astral home, but you chose to be here, and so now you're here. A guy told me that on a job one time. He was like, I asked him, "Hey, Bill, how are you doing?" And he said, "Well, I came here looking for work, and they gave me work. So what I got to complain about?" Some of us really need to use that in our own journey here on Earth plane. You wrote a soul contract out. You came here to do some things. Now you're here. So what are you complaining about? Oh, you didn't know it was so hard? Hmm? You thought it was just, you was living your very cocky, divine, eternal life. And you was like, it's like, we need some people to go down to Earth to help Earth evolve. And you were like, hold my beer, I'll be right back. You were like, you and your divineness, your greatness, your highest version of you. You were like, hold my beer, I'll be right back. Let me go take care of this problem really quick. How they say it in the streets, Nicole? This easy work. That's easy work. I don't know. Maybe I lived in the streets too much. I don't really regret anything of my that brought me to this path, because I wouldn't be the person I am unless I went through those journeys. But yeah, I was in the streets deep. And sometimes it comes back to me, when they come and say that's easy work. When people get ready to box or fight, and they be talking garbage, like, man, that's easy work. Man, I give him all my light work. I give him all my light work. Go on, handle your business, dog. So when we came to this plane of resistance, greed is greed is greed is. When we came to this plane of resistance, we were like, oh, this easy work. We signed that contract, and they say, well, you're signing a contract, and this is what you want to do, and this is who you want to meet, and these are the people you want in your life, and this is all the lessons that you want to learn. All right. So, and you're like, oh, that's easy. Let's make it a little harder. Let's make it a little harder. I was like, I want to be born a black man in the 1900s. They said, what about in the 1700s? I was like, no. Don't want to do that. Don't want to do that. I rather just that's a little harder. I'm moving them around because I notice when I look at the video, sometimes people can't see what they are. So we have a very triggering conversation, and this is a trigger warning, right? We're going to be talking about how you are God. That triggers people, right? I'm going to go as far as to say you are the new gods. But, people get very triggered by that. For some reason, that is the most triggering statement ever. You're not God, And I think we need to kind of dissect what we understand of God, how we understand God. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe we need to be clear on how our perception of God, and then they will understand why conscious people say we're God. Maybe they have a different. You have to start with a baseline definition, and then if they understand that, maybe they'll have a better understanding why we say we are gods. We are not the creator God. We are the co-creators. So maybe they'll have a better understanding if we kind of break down how we understand God. Maybe that's the problem. We have fundamentally different understandings of God. And that's what causes some people to be triggered. All right. Maybe that's what causes some people to be triggered. We're doing our morning practices, and I'm going to try to get into everything. But when I do my studying and my reading and my meditating, I go down a lot of rabbit holes. Sometimes Baba need a rope to pull me back. Sometimes I need a rope to pull me back. I don't think I'm even broadcasting on TikTok. TikTok has enough of my foolishness because the scroll is not even working. How's everyone doing? Are you guys doing the practices? As I was saying that, we get up, we clear our chakras, realign ourselves back to our presence here on earth plane, and then do what we need to do with the physical body and the preparation for the day. And then we turn on Baba and we do our practices to work on our psychic abilities and gifts. I know some people can only listen because they're busy doing things, but I appreciate you tuning in. I'm moving it around because I looked at the video and I realized that sometimes you can't see what it is. But try to keep track of how many you're getting correct and how many you're not getting correct, and show yourself love and support the work that you're doing, because it is actually helping you get better at this. Not in the ways that you think, but in bigger and better ways where you can actually see what's coming next. Your intuition is on fire, on point. I want to thank everyone for all the support they gave me on that last video, the thumbs up, the likes. The video is doing very well. I truly appreciate you guys supporting the Conscious Collective and supporting yourself. I probably would be here if you wasn't here, but I'm glad you're here because at least you're trying to grow and expand yourself. That is a star. We'll do a few more, then we're going to our other practices, and then we'll get into our talk for today. I want to share with you why you are the new gods. You're the gods, but you're actually the new gods, right? You are evolving into something greater than what you were. The human body is as effective as an instrument that it can be. The mind is the next step in that evolution. And I'll preview a little bit what I want to talk about. How do we view God? How do we view God? Do we view God as a being with two arms, two legs, a neck, a digestive system, a brain? Is that how we view God? Or is it just an image of what we are, but it doesn't have all those internal makings, but it can be centralized as what we are? Is that how we view God? Maybe our viewing and our understanding of God needs to be more refined, and then people will understand how you can be God, how you can be God. Because are you just your neck? Are you just your head? Are you just your arms? Or is there something else? Exactly. Is it something else that you are? If there's something else that you are, maybe there's something else that God is. Because if you are not physical, if it's more to you than just the physicality, maybe God is not a physical representation of what you are physically. Does it make sense? Does that make sense? That God is not a physical, is not a a spiritual representation of what you are physically, but God may be more aligned to what you are consciousness. So that would mean that God is more of a consciousness. Probably was that would explain a lot of things. All right. So we need to delve deeper in why you are the new gods, why star seeds and light workers are the new gods. And we're going to go down some deep rabbit holes. Let's do a couple more of these, and then we move on to our other practices. How are you guys doing? Did you get many of them right? Or are you struggling to tap into your abilities? Welcome to everyone in the Conscious Collective. We are going to be having a conversation in 1 minute. Let's do some mind reading. Let's do some mind reading really quick. Then we'll do remote viewing. Let's do a little mind reading. Let's change this over. Okay. I got so many, about 6 out of 10. Very good, very good, very good. So we do our mind reading with my all-seeing eye cards. Okay. What I do is I look at a shape and a color and a number for those that are new here. And then I ask you to read my mind. This is the second part of our psychic practice. We do a lot more on Saturdays. So if you want to be part of that, please sign up for the newsletter and become part of that practice on Saturdays. We moved it to 9 o'clock. It's online, and you'll get that link Saturday. Okay. If you won't, take these cards as your psychic reading for the day. If anything resonates with you, kind of use that, because you got like safe travels, past life, friendship. So if anything resonates with you, consider God is talking to you. Consider the universe is talking to you. Okay. So I'm looking at a shape. I'm looking at a color. I'm looking at a word, and I'm looking at a number. Just think about it. I'll give it you a few minutes to tune in to your higher self. You don't have to comment because it gets delayed, and I have moved on to something else while you're talking about something else, and it's confusing to me. But if you feel like you got it right, give yourself credit. Always love you. It was a time like when my daughter was in school and got into some trouble, and I usually try to work with the teachers and things like that. And so I went there, and I was trying to work with the teacher, and the teacher was saying, some very negative things. And I just had to tell him, just hold up. All right. I'm trying to work with you, but this little one here, I'm going to always have their back. Don't ever doubt that. I'm going to always have their back. Okay. So let's slow up on all the little negative talk here. Okay. Let's slow up on a little negative talk. All right. Now, when she got in the car, I did chastise her, but our children need to know that we always have their back, that we always support them. We can still chastise them, but we should always show them that support. You know how good that feels? You know how strong that makes a child to realize that that someone always has their back, someone's always supporting them. I was looking at, this is power horns. The color is purple and the number is 46. Okay. I don't know why this number, this card, of all these cards, I just keep, this is why I stopped doing readings, because I'm thinking they messages for me. I'm doing readings for people and I'm like, ooh, is that for me? Of all these cards, all right, I keep pulling the same cards. And so when I was doing readings for people, you know, I'm like, because I guess because I'm always in the mindset of self-work, self-reflection, self-evaluation, you know. Good job. Got the purple. Good job. But here comes another purple. So I get this card a lot. Release, release, right? I have a selenite knife that I do core cuttings with. So I'm wondering if it's something I probably need to release. All right. Number is 42. If you can't see it. All right. But it's purple. You say you saw purple before. All right. Make sure you're using the right gift. All right. And it's a knife. So I don't know. To my people who do readings out there, who are in that space, you know, a lot of times when I did it, it was, I thought it was always talking about me, you know. So it was hard for me to kind of focus outwardly. I agree. You are totally right about that. That release card. See, we could just turn this into a reading. That release card. Now, I don't want to turn it into a reading because I get these questions, you know, about Ricky and Bobby. I don't care nothing about Ricky and Bobby. And those that know me know what Ricky and Bobby mean. Okay. I care nothing about Ricky and Bobby. I care about aiding the conscious collective and raising their consciousness, developing their spiritual gift, reconnecting to source. I care nothing is, does Bobby love me? I care nothing. I could care less. I can't tell you the level of whether I could care about Ricky and Bobby. And then when I get into trying to read, people ask the most things you can figure out on your own, right? Things that you can figure out on your own. Does Charlie love me? You don't know that. You can't read that. You can't read that. You can't feel that. You can't know that. Why are you asking me? You want me to delve into your whole psychic imagery and stuff? Because people want other people to live their lives. See, we're about soul sovereignty here, right? We're about accountability. We live our lives. This is why people are so easily controlled and manipulated, because they want to give everything over to someone else. All right, be it a God, be it a government, be it a psychic reader or whatever. These are things that you as a divine being should have on point. These are things that you as a divine being should know. You don't need no one to tell you that. So that's why I didn't do psychic reading, because it's not my, hey, if you want to go ask somebody some questions, because I'm listening to this one psychic, and then she asked the psychic, should I divorce my husband? The psychic like, yes, you should divorce your husband. I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. You're going to base your life decision off of someone else who said that you should do it. Well, they're a psychic. That is insane work, people. And that's why this does not resonate with everyone. This does not resonate with everyone. This is only for those that is meant for the conscious collective. I am the voice of the conscious collective. This is for the conscious. I care nothing about NPCs. I care nothing about dormant star seeds. All right. I care not. If you're not awake and you're not trying to expand your consciousness to the left, take those regular clothes with you. You'll get it next lifetime. And I have to stop being so cut and dry about it, because I'm like, you'll get it next lifetime. You may not get it this lifetime. You'll get it next lifetime. You know, you'll get it some lifetime. All right. You think you're dying and you have learned nothing, and you're just going to die and take your trauma, your biases, your prejudice to a place in heaven. You haven't learned anything. How are you going to take who you are, how traumatized you are, and all of a sudden you be in heaven with none, and now you got a better thought, you're a better person because you went to heaven, now you're a better person, but you haven't done any work to clear that out. But now you're in heaven, and now you're a good person, while you're looking at people in hell talking about, yeah, I told y'all to get right. It doesn't make any sense. You're supposed to learn, you're supposed to grow, you're supposed to evolve. And then you keep doing that until you become your highest version of yourself, and you're back to oneness with source. To me, the separation from source, from oneness, from love is hell. The farther away you are from love and from connection is hell. Think about it. If you're alone by yourself, you generally tend to be unhappy. But when you're connected to families and friends and people that love you, life matters. Everything's a mirror of the universe. Our connection to source, our connection to the divine one, our connection to God is the highest point of consciousness, of vibration. It's nirvana. It's everything. Separation from that is hell. And we work our way back to that oneness with source. The journey is different for everyone. You experience it in different ways, but it's all about going back to the oneness with all. That's why you are the new gods. So this is not for everyone who's not ready for this. And I keep sharing that. And that's why you get blocked so fast. That's why you get blocked so fast. I'm looking at a color, a word, and a number. We're doing Read My Mind. Doesn't take much to read Baba Mind, because I'm letting you know right now what's on my mind. But I can do two things at one time. We're going to have a deep conversation why you are the new gods, why we are the new gods. If you don't want to be a god, move out the way. Let me in there. Let me in there. Let me in there. If you don't want to be a god, you go back to being a servant. You go back to looking for answers outside of yourself. You go do that. Let me in here. Since you don't want it, I'll take it. I'm looking at cross arrows, safe travels, and 30. If it resonates with you, you take it and you do whatever you need to do with that. If this resonates with you, if this helps you make a life decision, knock yourself out. Because I can't help you. I could help you. I don't want to help you. I want you to help yourself. I want to teach you how to swim. I'm looking at a color. I'm looking at a shape. We're going to get to our conversation in 1 minute. Let's do a couple more of these. All right. And I'm looking at a word and a number. Greetings to TikTok. Tick is talking is ticking. I'm trying to get banned off every platform. You're going to have to shut me up because I came here to do something. All right. I came here to do something. I'm working in my purpose and my mission to awaken the collective. And I am so grateful. I talk to so many insightful, enlightened people. They're shy. They're shy. I tell them to get on, if you want to get over shyness, the number is 14. The word is past life. If you want to get over shyness, resistance, get on TikTok. TikTok is a great training ground. A great training ground because they are brutal over there. They are brutal. As my girl said, you always saying something. Block. You always saying something. Block. I like it when they go at each other. I guess that's a guilty pleasure. All right, this is the last card we're gonna do. It's good for your training because I talk to a lot of people who are very insightful, enlightened. They bring up great points. We have great discussions, right? They're awakening, and I think they should be sharing it with other people. But once again, I don't. Maybe it's not that they're are are shy or afraid, but we have this overriding. And I know when people are really on a journey because they respect everyone in their journey. And as star seeds and light workers, we have this overriding respect for everyone in their journey. We disagree. We may be, at odds on some things, but we like, okay, if that's what you think, that probably works with you right now. But it's good. I think they should be out there talking to people more. All right, the last one I'm looking at is a message. Is the word. There's a butterfly. The color was green. Okay. All right. So what does this mean in your life? The butterfly brings a message. Next time you see a butterfly, they got a message for you. Check it, check its ankle. There's a little message on it for you. Okay. So that has been read my mind. We're gonna move to our remote viewing. Let me bring it up. Oh, that's cool. Okay. That's cool. Let's bring it up. I'm gonna try to because doing all this, the manual part sometimes is a lot, and I got a lot of things I want to share with the Conscious Collective. So I'm being pulled in a number of different ways because I'm trying to communicate. I'm trying to get my graphics up. As this operation goes, I'm gonna have things are There are gonna be other people who are gonna be able to aid me in this journey, and we're growing stronger and stronger and getting more involved each day. So we have three numbers, 1, 2, 3, that I place in no particular order. I'm sure TikTok can see it. Somebody's gonna act like they're brilliant, like they fooling me, and I could care less. I guess I'm in the non-caring day. You ever had them days where you don't care? I guess that's me today. I don't care. You're not fooling nobody. You're fooling yourself. If you don't want to do the work, that's on you. Right? Where did I place it? Is it on 1, 2, and 3? You don't have to type it in, but I'll just let you know where I place it at. I'm using a Palo Santo that's been heavily burned. Can never have enough positive energy in the collective. Can never have enough positive energy. Okay. Where did I place it? Please tell me where I placed it. The Conscious Collective. Then we're going to move into our talk about why we kind of previewed it a little bit. I placed that on number 3. That was placed on number 3. I previewed it a little bit. What my thoughts of on why we're the new gods. The old gods are gone because they were not built in truth. And so we are the new gods because we are getting a better understanding of God. And as we get a better understanding of it, we come to find out that when we've been looking outside of ourselves, it's always been in us. I placed that on one. Place it on one. Let's move it around again. We're going to do this for a little while. Then we're going to move into our talk. Because I feel like we need to get into our talk. Somebody needs to hear this today. I don't know what you come to do. Y'all guys know that song? Anyone knows that song? I don't know what you come to do. And the thing is about old gospel songs, I placed it on 3, is that they really resonate with your lower vibrational energy. Not that they're negative, they just harmonize with your frequency. And hey, FX Wealth, if you knew a song that I was singing, I did. You know that song? Because most times I tell people, you know that song, they go, no, y'all don't know what you got. They're like, I have no idea. I have no idea what you're singing. That was placed on 1. I told you, next reincarnation, I'm coming back as a singer. I'm gonna have some singing skills, and I don't mean no damn bird either. I mean some Luther Vandross, some Whitney Houston, some of those real pipe singing. Okay, I like them songs. I like gospel songs. I really do, but you have to be careful. It's the same thing. I don't recommend that everyone reads the Bible. That was placed on 2. The Bible is a virus that will it's a program that will override your program, right? And then you get caught up in a lot of things that you miss the whole message of what the Bible is trying to convey on how to live your life. And then you start talking about knocking on doors and people going to hell and stuff like that. So I don't always recommend that everyone reads the Bible, right? But the Bible has a lot of good lessons in there. A lot of spiritual books, religious books, Taoism, all of them, they have great messages in there. But a lot of times you have to be careful because you have to be trained to just use it to guide you and not get caught up in a lot of the other stuff that's meant to override your soul sovereignty. See, you are the original technology. You are the original program, and a lot of things can infect your program. All right, and I'm gonna talk about that in just 1 minute. All right, let's just finish our morning practice. Thank you guys for joining me. I placed that on 2. Greetings. Get the pen. Get the pen. Thank you for joining me. We're going to be talking about a trigger warning. Trigger warning. Please hear me now. Trigger warning. We're going to be talking about why you are the new gods. You are a god. If you don't think you're a god, if you don't think you are a god, this is going to be very triggering for you. And somebody's going to eventually quote some Bible verse to me, So even though they ignore the Bible verses that says that ye are gods, but they only get to quote the ones that they want to use to kind of put you back in your place. I don't have a place. You can't put me in a place. All right. You can't put me in a place. I don't have a place. So that's 1. All right. Let's do one more. And then we're going to get into our conversation. I'm going to try to do these screens correctly. I got a lot of things I want to touch on, and I'm going to try them doing correctly. I got to show you guys something in 1 minute. How did you guys do on the morning practices, the psychic reading practices? We do them fully on Saturday. We only do them just to awaken you right now to get you thinking more in your higher selves. So, but if you want to join us, sign up for the newsletter. That link should be in the description. This is number 2. Okay, this is not an all-day psychic practice. This is just something to get you guys in the right mindset. It gets me aligned to what I'm trying to share by allowing me to tap into my higher selves, right? So what I want to talk about, I'm gonna bring this up really quickly. You guys tell me what you think of this. All right, I will bring this up. All right, really quickly. Let's see if I can get the right one. Let me make sure I have the right image up of me up. But then I'm gonna bring this up. Nope, that's not the right one. Let's take that one down. Move that one. All right, and that's still not the way I want to show it. I want to show it this way. All right, I guess we got there. So this is the image that I created of the new gods. You know, ignore the pornographic. I didn't draw the image, okay? But ignore the pornographic parts of it. It was not meant to be pornographic, but I was like, okay, calm down, okay. So this is the image that we're going to go off of, that you are the new gods, okay? But first, before we come to that topic, I want to play something for you guys really quickly to kind of set the stage on how we're thinking about this. So where is it at? Come on. I really need some help with these screens. Oh, I think this is it here. Okay, let's listen to this.
About the crisis in the Middle East, please press 1. If not, press 2. Please do not rely on the U.S. government for assisted departure or evacuation at this time. There are currently no United States evacuation points. Please continue to check the embassy's website for updated information. In the event of ongoing military action, Americans should shelter in place until it is safe to move about freely.
So if you got caught up over there in the Middle East, right, and you there, right, and you want to get out of there, right, you call the U.S. State Department's helpline, and this is what this is the message that they play when you call there.
If you are calling about the crisis in the Middle East, please press 1. If not, press 2. Please do not rely on the U.S. government for assisted departure or...
So we talk often about how they put things in plain view. It's right there. If you are awakening your consciousness and awakening your awareness, you can see it. You can hear it. It is clear as day. All right. We talk about how movies have messages, how different things have different meanings, right? If you, they are telling you right in your, you can listen to what they are saying. Listen to what they're saying.
Please do not rely on the U.S. government for assisted departure or...
Now, they started a conflict. You minding your own business, you doing your thing over there. They started a conflict, then they tell you don't rely on the U.S. government, and people are stuck there, being unalive. You're going to find out that Americans are being unalive there because the U.S. cares little. See, people want to say, oh, well, they're going to look after us. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. You have given over your soul sovereignty to something that do not care about you. Once you have served a purpose, you are discarded. And you're going to be discarded more and more. The U.S. is not going to provide work for you. They're not going to provide food for you. You have to understand what is coming. You have to understand what what the plan is. It's like when I used to work in corporate America, and they used to do these huge layoffs, right? And they would have these meetings, about me that I wasn't in and didn't have privilege to, and then come in the next day and find out they don't need me no more. They've been discussing how to get rid of me or get rid of you that you're not even privileged to anymore. You're not in this room that they're having these conversations on, but they're letting you know what's coming. You can feel it, right? But yet and still, right, you're not even thinking about how that is going to affect you in the long run. Now, I want to talk really quickly about positioning yourself so that you are not affected in the way that they think, that they don't care, that you have this soul sovereignty, that you are always going to be all right, right? I am predicting, all right, a supernatural wealth transfer of all the hoarding, of all the things that they're doing. All that is going to be given over to those that are prepared. They're not going to be able to hang on to it. They're not going to be able to keep it. All right. They're going to have they don't have holes in their hands, and Baba XL is going to be just collecting it. All right. Because the prosperity of the earth is not theirs. The abundance of the earth is not there. I don't care what they tell you. Everything is a gatekeep. When they give value to money, it's based on something real estate, real access. Okay. That value is something they use to manipulate you with. Okay. So when they can't do that anymore, that wealth, that abundance is going to flow to those that are prepared for it. So I had to delve a little deeper, right? Because I'm looking at this verse, Matthew 5 and 5, however you say that. How do you say that? 5.5? I don't know. Blessings are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. So let's look at what the meek are. I'm saying, so who are the meek? What does that mean? So I had to kind of look up what the translation for meek was, right? Meek actually means silent strength. It means silent strength, that you're not, because we think meek means afraid. That's not what meek means. It means that you have confidence and you're silent and you have this inner assurance. Where do we get our assurance from? From being divinely connected. Now, as I grew up in Chicago, and everyone knows they call it Chirac for a reason. It's a name that is well deserved. Chicago is called Chirac. Chicago is a brutal city. I was sitting in my car one day, and I don't know what I was doing, and a police car pulled up next to me, and he said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm just sitting here." He said, "Don't sit in your car." Because they used to just drive by and just shoot people in their cars. Just unalive them quick, fast, in a hurry. That was just the nature of Chirac, okay? You don't know, a fish doesn't know it's in water. A fish doesn't know it's in water. It's just the element it's in. I didn't think anything was different. I thought everyone lived at that degree of violence. I thought that's just was the nature of the world. That violence was just part of that. So I didn't even think much of it. I was violent. People were violent. You can't let anything slide in Chicago. No one can step on your shoes. No one can disrespect you. No one can proceed to disrespect you. Okay? Because it's going down in the hood. So I want to talk about what silent strength is, but give you an example. Hold on, I'm not reading the comments. Give me a second. 5 and 5. Oh, they say 5 and 5. I got me a Bible reader, 5 and 5. That's how they say that. I just read them. I just read it. I try not to let it affect me too much, but it's interesting. Okay, so I'm on this bus in Roseland in Chicago, and Roseland is one of the worst areas in Chicago. And I grew up in Roseland. All right, survived it. Hope they aren't looking for me there. But I'm on the bus in Roseland, and I'm minding my business. And I didn't really run with gangs or anything like that. And this is one, I knew the gangs. You got it because they wore colors. So you knew what they were. They were represented by colors, right? And so I saw this one, I guess he had on red. He was just sitting on the bus minding his business. He just looking down. I don't know, just minding his business. And then someone, I guess, had on blue. I don't know if they were Blood Crips. He was a different gang. We didn't call them Blood and Crips. We called them Disciples and Folks. That's what they were called. They were called Folks and Disciples. They were Folks and it was Disciples. Anyone know about Folks and Disciples? You know, they used to do. This was Disciples. And what was Folks? Oh, this was Folks. Okay. You had to do this to be Folks. All right. So yeah, you better know what people are doing. If y'all ask me why I know, and you know I was in the gang, you better know what they doing out there. All right. If you hear, hold on, let me see. If you hear, you better get the moving. You better get the moving. You better make sure you're not in that crossfire. That is the call. And they will come out from underneath porches, from backyards, from if the lookout went, right, you better know what's going down because they will come from underneath sewers. And they came from everywhere like roaches, all right? And it was about to go down, all right? Hey, I'm sorry to get off the point, but remember when they jumped on them people on that boat, right? And that guy was swimming across the water because they hit that security guard, right? And then the people would like come in to fight the people that hit the security guard, right? And there was one guy, right, or a couple, right, and their pants were hanging down, and they pulling up their pants as they come to fight. Best believe me, the ones pulling up their pants, oh, they're gonna peel some scalps back. They gonna the chair one, yeah, the chair fire. The brothers, the black guys that are pulling up their pants like this and holding their pants, oh, you about to get beat silly. You about to get beat silly. Don't think that's the ones that don't wear belts. That's the ones that will knock you out. Okay, all right. Those are the guys. You look like those when they pulling up their pants. When you pulling up your pants, going to a fight, you got all the confidence in the world. You got all the confidence in the world. You don't even have a belt on, but best believe you about to get beat. You about to get beat. So when you hear that sound, they come pulling up their pants and coming all out underneath the porches and backyards and stuff. You best run. You best run. So that's a little side note on my life journey. I had such a very colorful life. But let me tell you about what meek means and silent strength. Let me give you an example of what that means, right? So, and I know we're not gonna get to everything today, but I gotta tell you this, right? The meek will inherit the world. That's a silent strength, right? So this guy's on the bus. I don't know if he was folks or people or whatever the hell they were called, all right? And he's quiet. And this other guy gets on the bus and he's really boisterous. The bus driver's asking him for his fare. You know, I ain't got no fare, man. You better get out of my face with all that, right? You know, and he walking through the bus and he jerking at people and he scaring people and he doing all this and stuff. And people trying to mind their business on the bus. Hold on 1 second. Oh, yeah. That when you know they taking off earrings, pulling up pants, putting that Vaseline on their face, oh, it's about to go down. I got some of my people out here. We know it's about to go down. You're gonna get caught off. If you don't know about that, and somebody's doing all that, you about to get caught off guard. You better be aware of what's about to happen. You about to be aware of what's about to happen. That ain't gonna be no normal situation. Okay? That ain't gonna be no normal situation. I've seen some really, they ain't normal situations, okay? So he gets on the bus, right? And he's if I told you guys this before, let me know. But it's funny to me. Okay. So he gets on the bus and he's jerking at people, he's scaring the old ladies, people are clutching their pearls and stuff like that, right? And so he sees the guy that belongs to the other gang. All right. I don't know which gang it was, but he sees the guys that belong to the gang. And so he's like, you know how Martin Lawrence be doing, oh my God. You know when Martin Lawrence be doing all that? And he's like, he looking at this guy like, I don't believe you on this bus. I don't believe you on the bus. He making this whole big scene, looking like Martin Lawrence running up and down the bus, Like he running up and down the bus, yelling at this guy sitting there. And the guy's still just sitting there reading his book, right? And then he finally makes the mistake. Hold on, let me keep TikTok. I'm getting tired of TikTok. He finally makes the mistake and grabs the guy. Okay? I'm going to say it was a mistake. All right? He finally makes the mistake. And some of y'all out there know you can say anything you want to say. But once somebody touch you, they can say anything you want. Some of y'all out there know, and some of y'all hearing this know that when somebody touch you, it ain't going to end well. So he grabs the guy. I never seen a guy get beat so bad. Not the one that was making all the noise, the quiet guy. Beat that guy from the front of the bus back to the back of the bus. And the funny part is, now you got to know how Chicago buses work, right? To get off, you have to pull a string and it rings a bell to let the driver know you want to get off, right? I don't know how it works now, but that's the way it worked, right? He's beating the guy back and forth, right? He beat the guy so bad, right? He pulls the string and then throws the guy off the bus. And the bus driver just keeps pulling, he keeps going. I was like sitting back like just shocked because the meek one, the silent one, the one you would assume that was operating in fear was operating in confidence. Okay? He knew his capabilities. He was assured of himself that he didn't have to flex. He didn't have to make noise. He didn't have to do anything. But once the guy touched him, I will always remember that. And the casual way he's beating the guy, pushing and pulling the bell down, and then threw the guy off the bus. I'm like, wow. And then he sat back down in his seat. I don't know if he looked out the window or kept reading his book. I'm like, the silent ones, we know this. You guys tell me in the comments if this is not true. The silent ones are always the ones you have to watch out for. The silent ones, the meek ones are always the ones that you have to watch out for. They are the most dangerous people. The ones that are not talking a lot, like a real Asian ninja. They are not talking a lot. They're not flexing. Those are the most dangerous people you're going to come across. Right? Don't touch them. Don't touch them. You can say anything you want, but once you touch them, it's on. It is on. So when we're looking at the word meek, right? Meek doesn't mean weak. It's a silent strength. It's assurance. And you get that assurance from knowing that you are connected to source. You get that assurance knowing that you are in alignment with the highest power possible. It's nothing you have to flex about. It's nothing you have to, demonstrate. You hold your peace, right? And that's what meek means. It means just to be silently strong and confident. You don't have to yell about anything. You don't have to defend yourself to the point of where you have to be aggressive. See, we look at religions, right? We look at the way they go about their messaging, right? We don't see any meekness in that. All we see is some blustery and some lies. All right. When you're spiritual, you don't have to do all of that. That's how we know you're operating in the correct energy. Now, I said that to say because we're entering a part of 3D reality where it's collapsing. Everyone is blustering. Everyone is flexing. Everyone, we bombed the H out of them. We bombed this. We did that. Everyone is flexing, right? On both sides. On both sides. 3D is meant to collapse. 3D is meant to fail, right? 5D consciousness is rising as 3D starts to collapse. As people start to realize, right, that there is a more awakening approach to the world, right? As 3D spirals the drain, it's going to destroy itself. The earth will remain. The meek will remain. The abundance of the universe will be those that are meek and silent in their strength. So I said all that to say that this is the opportunity to position yourself correctly by joining the conscious collective, being part of the conscious collective, right? To join the effort in raising the vibration of the planet, raising the consciousness of others, getting involved with it. And I wanted to go through this slideshow really quickly before we have not got to the talk. Let me make sure I do this the right way. Let's see. Why the conscious collective is important in what we're trying to do. I hope everyone can see that. We're going to always hear us come back to do the work. Do the work. Doing the work is positioning yourself to be in that 5D reality. As 3D starts to collapse, as 3D starts to fail, you want to be positioned correctly. I always say sign up for the Conscious Collective. Get linked in with the community. And I'm going to tell you why. Because when we're holding our classes, right, we hold different classes on different modalities. Right now, we're doing the palm chakras, and we're going to move into the 0 point chakras. Okay. So as we're doing our work, right, I've had people ask me, can we put it on recording? Because a lot of times people can't participate and they can't get involved like they want to in the practices. And we go through a lot of information to reawaken our chakras, right? But I received a download because when we're in the collective like that, when we're talking, people are saying good morning to each other. People they are actually a community. And that comes from the live. That comes from being in the live and working together. All right. My ideal situation that we be in the same space, but online is a good second choice. Being live, right? That's why I do these live, because the energy is different when you're live. Okay. And I wanted to continue that because we are supposed to be a collective. We're supposed to be supporting each other, saying good morning to each other, or divine rising, really, but being social and helping each other in our life journey. There is strength in our collective. And so that's why I wanted to continue to do them live, and they're not recorded. Even though if you sign up for them, right, you can get free access to the rest of them. If you sign up for one, you can get free access to that course for a lifetime. Because I want you to be part of that community and part of collective as you do the work to raise your vibration. Doing the work. I offer mentorship, one-on-one on chakra balancing, chakra clearing, 7-week process. Those that have been through it know that it actually helps you clear those chakras. There's a self-paced learning off the Patreon page where you can go through all the things that we're talking about at your own pace. A lot of that content is offered free. I already talked about the online workshops, the psychic practices. Okay. Oh, that would kind of be a little bit different because we do the psychic practices on Saturday. You join the newsletter, you get that link to get into the psychic practices that we do on Saturday. And then we have my ebooks, right, which are going to help you expand your consciousness. I'm about to bring out another ebook, but that other ebook link is in the description. Check out that ebook. All this is to aid you in doing the work, to positioning you so that when 3D collapses on itself and 5D starts to evolve, that you are part of that. You are positioning that because you have done the work to raise your vibration and raise your consciousness. You should always be doing the work. I've done a lot of personal work myself. Some things I can recommend, Some things I wouldn't because they were part of my journey. And at the very least, you should be subscribing to this YouTube channel and thumbing up the video. So if everyone can thumb up the video and subscribe, right, that helps the algorithm recognize this channel and we can continue to reach out to people. So I definitely wanted to share that with you guys. Before we got into our talk, let's bring up what we're going to be talking about today. I think I'm going to just do it this way. Give me a second. Did I blink out? I'm sorry. Okay. I blinked out for a second. I'm trying to work in the control room at the same time that I'm actually trying to keep my thoughts in order, right? Now, someone asked me yesterday about what agents are. And you'll hear a lot of times I refer to the matrix when I'm sharing things with people. I talk about the matrix a lot. And you might say, why is Baba talking about a movie? All right. But I'm trying to take ancient knowledge and apply it to our current understanding, our current reference points. A lot of things, the matrix was the matrix long before someone called it the matrix. You understand what I'm saying? It existed long before it was called the matrix. All right. All these things that we talk about, right? There are different understandings of something that was already ancient and known. Okay. Part of Gnostic teaching, part of ancient teachings. So I use the reference points a lot of times to kind of understand, give better understanding of what it means in our current understanding of things. See, this is the problem you have with a lot of like the Christian Bible. None of that what they're talking about is current. The stories and the truths are still relevant, but I'm talking about the different things they talk about: women cutting their hair and you know, the Sabbath and all that other stuff. It has no relevance in our current society. So I try to use ancient knowledge and try to give it reference points in our current world. Okay. So that's why you hear me a lot of times refer to the different things that we understand together, because I'm trying to share the ancient knowledge about it, the ancient concepts about it, right? So I'm going to do a video probably tomorrow. So please, when you see the thumbnail up, please set the notification so you know I'm going to do a video tomorrow about angels and archons, right? And how that applies to our current understanding. So I don't think I've heard anyone try to give an understanding of angels and the archons, right? A lot of people might say angels and demons. And this is the thing, that when we try to describe things, a lot of times we describe them in ways that doesn't have any relevance to what our understanding is now. Greetings, Sign Trinity. Greetings, Sign Trinity. You should rewind this. I was banging them out. Baba hitting another banger. I know I'm not going to get my flowers from a lot of people, but I don't mind buying my own flowers. All right. So rewind the videos, and I think you're going to gain a lot from. But thank you for joining us. Okay. So we're going to talk about why you are the new gods, but I want to lay the groundwork a little bit. All right. On the idea. So let's talk about primitive thinking versus tribal thinking. Most primitive people understood God in the abstract. They understood God in the environment. They didn't have figures of God. Just think about it. Ancient people, ancient tribes didn't really have figures. They had ancestors and things like that, but they really never had a centralized figure and said, this is God. Okay. That's more akin to the way spiritual people think about it. But currently, the way religious people think about God is more tribal. God looks like me. God looks like me. You understand the difference between primitive thinking about God, or we say we're primitive, that God is an abstract idea, as opposed to what tribes try to tell you, that God looks like me, God thinks like me, God don't like you, but he loves me, he loves my people, he loves those that I love, and he hates those that I hate. That's more of a tribal thinking. That's a separation. The whole point of our journey is back to oneness with source. But when you think of God in the terms of looking like you, having blonde hair or blue eyes and pale skin, somebody's going to say, no, God looks like me. He got woolly hair and he got, bronze skin. And so all that is about separation. So we need to have a better understanding of not even agreement, a better understanding exactly what we experience about God. I've said often that you cannot know God. It's impossible. And that's the mistake a lot of religious and a lot of teachers of this system try to tell you that they know God. How is that possible? Right? You don't have the mental capacity to know God. You have no concept. You can experience God in your present world, right? You can experience, God in the way nature aligns itself, the way the sun rises, the way you are here on this planet. You can experience God, but you cannot know. And when they have this book and say it's the word of God, God cannot be reduced to a book. And everything we need to know cannot be put in a book. Everything we need to experience cannot be put in a book. So the question is, what is God? Is God like a man, or in the image of a man or a woman, or in the shape? We can look at ourselves and try to understand that. We know that we're more than our shape, our heads, our colors. There's something else about us. Something else about us. And a lot of times that boils down to our consciousness. That there's a part of us that goes past all of this physical limitation. So maybe if we look at ourselves and see that we're more, then maybe God or God's source is more. Maybe God's source is some type of energy that permeates everything. Maybe it's some type of frequency, something that we have no full understanding of, that actually permeates everything. A lot of times you'll hear that the spark of God is in everything. So the question I want to ask, right, is God apart from its creation? Does God stand outside of its creations? Did God create things and it only outwardly created, but it does not reside in anything it created? It just created them and it stands apart from it. The way I want to share it is that would be like making something and having no connection to it. Just creating it and it is separate from you. I differ with that because when I look at the things other than me, I understand that God resides in those things. That God didn't just not create them, but the energy, the essence, the vibration of God resides in everything that was created. And see, that will also include me. That when I do the work and I align myself and I raise my vibration, that the essence of God actually resides in me also. So when you think of God as an energy, as a force, as something that you cannot really understand, but you can experience it, then you too recognize that you are part of all of it too. I like to liken it to an ocean, where you have an ocean, a body of water. If you dip it out and the water out and you put it in a glass, that water is still ocean in the glass. It's still a part of the whole, even though it's set aside inside of a glass. And when you pour it back in, it's indistinguishable from the ocean. We can talk about I am that. And I'll bring that in really quickly. Because if you look at your chakras, the root chakra tells us I am. As we move up through the chakras, I am, I feel, I do, I love, I speak, I see, I know. Now, if we look at that root chakra, it says I am. And if you look at your spiritual teachers teaching, there's a phrase that says, I am the great I am. So there is a greater part of you, but you are still part of it. I hope that's resonating with somebody. There's a greater part of you, but you are still part of it. It is not separate from you. The thing that animates your life, the energy, the vibration, you are part of that frequency. This is what we mean by you being God. That the spark of God resides in all things. The energy of God resides in all things. If God is pure form energy, the energy of God is in everything. It animates everything. It's where everything has its being in. And to deny yourself that and set yourself apart from it, and to allow someone to say that they have the access that you need to it, is to limit your power. It's to keep you separated from it. As we reawaken to the understanding of our true essence of ourselves, because you're not this physical thing you think you are. You are energetic, frequency, high vibrational, whatever way you want to describe, but you are not the physical part. You are something more than that, and you are connected to the greater whole of it. Like you may have a brain, and that brain has a cell, and you may be that cell, but you are still part of the brain. We see this repeated over and over again in the understanding of nature. That's why I say you can only experience God, and from that experience give you some understanding of it, but you can never know God. And as we look at the brain, you say, okay, maybe I'm a cell in the larger brain, but I'm still a brain. I'm still part of the brain. God is his creation. You are the creation of God. You hear people say often that you are source experiencing itself. This is a truth in that you are God observing yourself, your responses, that each one of us has a different perspective that is included in the whole of all of us. I messed that up. Hold on 1 second. Give me 1 second. So as we come to this clear understanding of our connection to God, we understand that the highest connection is that oneness with God, that pure connection to source. That right now we operate in separation, and that is by design, so we can learn and grow and evolve and move back into oneness. And you see this repeated in sacred geometry, the constant circle, the moving away. You see it in the universe, you see it in the planets, and the coming back. Our designs are written in the stars. Science has already confirmed that our physical makeup is made up of stars. I want to take it one step further and say your consciousness is part of the divine consciousness. Not the trauma part, not the scared, the selfish part, but as you move up through your chakras, you become more aligned with that silent strength. So that is something I wanted to share with the Conscious Collective. As I went down these rabbit holes, we didn't get a chance to do everything I wanted to do, but I definitely wanted to try to share a different perspective. So when people get triggered by us saying that we are gods, that we're talking about our energetic connection and our energetic oneness with all, and not the separation of you're part of this and you're part of that, and God represents me, but God doesn't represent you. So let's come together and let's fight over it. Let's sing you to God so he can sort it out. As we become our higher self, as we take our rightful positions in the new earth, we have to have a better understanding of our connection to divine source and where we line up in that connection, as opposed to this tribal thinking that you're special for some reason, that you're different from any of the other creations, that this plant is less than you, and it all being part of source's design. So again, I want to ask you guys to be part of this journey. If you feel called to, you can definitely donate. The Cash App is in the profile, but at the very least, to start to do the work, to start to understand more of your place and your journey, because things are happening very rapidly. A change is taking place, and it's all meant to bring us into a certain place where we can, I don't want to say enjoy, but be present in a higher state of consciousness. I just want to say really quickly, thank you, sister. Let's share that with everybody. Tomorrow, I want to talk about angels and archons. Am I pronouncing it right? Archons? Acons? Hold on 1 second. Archons. And how these are what we may assume to be AI programs, ancient AI programs that operate. When you study angels, you understand that angels operate like programs. But I just want to say this really quickly before I close, right? I was looking at Donald Trump, and I look at him as a necessary part of of the process. Most people get really emotional and get really personal about it. You have to understand all this is meant to be for us to move into this higher state of consciousness. Everything is happening according to plan. There's nothing that is not already aligned. Even though you just may be becoming aware of it, everything is on schedule. And I was looking at how he was the voice of a group that felt disenfranchised. Don't ask me why. Why the people who benefit the most from this country are the most upset about it. Don't I don't understand how someone can even tell you that. But he was the voice of those people. I am honored. I am honored. Even though there are many people in this conscious collective who have great insight, I am honored to be the voice of the conscious collective. I'm honored to connect with you guys, to share with the rest of the collective, and even farther than that, to awaken people to their pure potential and their highest versions of themselves. So I am thankful you guys allow me to share my perspective. I'm glad that you communicate with me and that we have this community that's growing stronger and bigger every day. I am truly grateful for that. So, in closing, I want to wish everyone love and light in their journey. And also trust everyone that you have health and wealth in your life journey. I want you guys to have a divine aligned day.